Good afternoon, everybody. Everybody that's gonna come on, everybody that's gonna watch later. Thank you for tuning in later than usual, but I had a lot of stuff going on. So, if you saw the thumbnail, hopefully, sometimes I put the thumbnail, you see it, sometimes you don't. I don't know. But with the thumbnail, I have the pictures. We're going to talk about the Dadeland, new information about the Dadeville, I say Dadeland, Dadeville shooting, if I could say that. Okay, the Dadeville shooting that took place in Alabama on April 16th, I believe. So new information coming out that really upset me, because that was not the time. I understand everybody have a right to tell their story, but there are certain times it's not that time at all. It's not that time, period. So anyway, I had did a live. When was that? The 24th. The 24th of April, I did a live. It was a late night live talking about this particular incident, this in particular tragedy, and why I was wondering why this tragedy did not have a trending hashtag like the Ralph Yarl tragedy. So new information has come out. There was a lot of people that got injured, but 4 people lost their lives. We have Phil Stavius, Dowdell, and the thing is, Phil who goes by the name Phil, they gave him Phil. He actually lost his life trying to save his sister, Alexis, who the party was for. So the party was for Alexis. That was her Sweet 16. Phil lost his life trying to save her. So whatever, I don't know if he tried to cover her or whatever, but that's how he lost his life. And we have a Sean Kiki Smith. She was 17. Phil was 18. Then you have Marcia Collins, 19. Corbin Holston, he was 23. New information come out. It's said, according to news reports, Marcia Collins had a weapon on him. Corbin Holston, which was the 23-year-old, he had a weapon on him also. And according to the suspects, who are the suspects? The suspects are 20-year-old Johnny Latron Brown. You have a Willie George Brown. They are related. You have Willie George Brown is 19. You have Wilson Lamar Hill Jr. He's 20. And then you have Tyrese McCullough. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's 17. And then you have Travis McCullough. He's 16. And then you have an unnamed 15-year-old, because he's person is 15. I guess that's why they didn't give the name. So Tyrese and Travis McCullough are brothers. When I first saw their picture, I thought they were twins because they look very much alike. And then it gave like deja vu. Why? The Douglasville, what happened in Douglasville, Georgia, the shooting. Remember the two twins? The two twins brothers that was a part of that Sweet 16 also. Ridiculous job. So according to these suspects, they said Corbin Holston fired first. We don't know, because Corbin isn't here. Corbin can't defend himself. So we don't know if it's true or if it's not true. This is my thing. Before it all happened, it is said that one of the DJ, see, one thing about in Miami, they're always making this noise with their car for some reason, show offs. It said that a DJ equipment fell. It fell, and the way that it fell, it made like a noise, like there were gunshots. So because of that, there were many young people, this is what reports are saying, many young people lifted up their shirts or put whatever they showed, they were strapped to. My thing is, why did they not stop the party then? And people say, oh, you victim blaming and stuff like that. But it's why people can't ask questions. Why that party should have been shut down then. Because unless people don't listen to the news or whatever, that should have take you back to what? Look what happened to Douglasville. We don't want the same thing to happen here. And one thing I would agree with the suspect's family, they did say, why was there not security? Why was there not security, patting these kids down? You can't trust people nowadays. You can't trust that, hey, I'm going to have a party, everything is going to go fine. That's a long time ago. Not now. Not in 2023. That probably was, maybe 2020, who knows? Or maybe in the 2000s. But sometimes even then, stuff would pop off. But now we have stuff popping up and we have several people losing their lives. You have people being paralyzed. It doesn't make any sense. So my thing is, the party should have been stopped from when people saw that some of these young people were strapped. That's when it should have been shut down. So as of whatever time it is today, 7 something, I don't know. The victim, to me, I don't know. The victim's family have yet to speak. But not the suspect's family. Here they run. They run to the news media. You have two aunts, Jeanette and Tamika. Y'all give y'all names to the news people. So don't come saying, oh, why you say? Because it's so y'all gave y'all names to the news people. So that's why I'm saying your name. I didn't even say your whole name. I just put your first name. So Jeanette is the aunt of the McCullers, and Tamika is the aunt of the Browns. And both of those people are related. Somehow they related, cousins, second, third, fourth, fifth cousins. I don't know. But the John, Willie, Tyrese, Travis, all of them are related. All of them are related. So they came out and speak saying that, first of all, they said a lot of stuff. First of all, they said that, oh, they are upset because they don't understand why people are giving them funny looks, why people are arguing and fussing with them. And then they was like, oh, everybody always have something negative to say. Really? The audacity of y'all. The audacity of y'all. These people lost their children. Phil was supposed to graduate. Kiki was supposed to graduate. Because I can't say the whole name. Was supposed to graduate. Marcia and Corbin, they had already graduated already. You have kids that are paralyzed. Like Kendarius Hurd. He is the cousin of Phil. He's paralyzed. He's a senior. He played football. He was supposed to graduate and go continue to play for Jackson State. That's what he wanted to. He's paralyzed. We don't even know if he's going to get through the rest. We're going to pray and hope God has mercy and somehow he's able to walk again. But he got hit in the spine. And then you say people have... Gotta calm down. Let me calm down. Since this thing is... Now y'all saying people always have something negative to say. Y'all acting like y'all victims. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And let's talk about these young men wasn't even supposed to be at the party. They wasn't invited. Y'all want to blame people, say people have negative to say, people looking at y'all funny, people want to fuss at y'all. Let's talk about how your family members was not even supposed to be at the party. They wasn't even invited. How they get there? Of course, probably somebody posted on social media why y'all don't raise y'all children to don't go where you're not invited. If you wasn't invited, why you there? Is it me? But you want to get upset at the people. And now y'all want to play victims, making excuses for these young men, enabling. And you can tell that you guys enable them. That's the only thing I said I agree with them, is because, yes, there should have been security. Because in the time that we're living in, people are mentally unstable. Their emotions are unstable. They have no emotional intelligence. If you're going to have some type of party, please have security. Please have security. There were 89 shell casings, and the police says it was probably from seven weapons. They recovered the weapon from Marseille and Holston. Holston, the one who they said allegedly fired first, they found his own on his chest. So if it was seven alleged weapons used, where the other 5? But that's what the suspect's saying. Oh, they railroading off our kids. Where's the weapons? Where's the evidence? Y'all probably got rid of it. This guy in this red, he has to be driving up and down here. It's ridiculous. That's the same red car that probably passed here by distraction, child. Okay, the family is saying, where's the evidence? Where's the weapon? Y'all probably got rid of it. Y'all probably got rid of it. And even if they do not have the weapon, if they have enough eyewitness statements, if they have enough other evidence, and it's found that without reasonable doubt, that your family members was a part of the thing, they going to prison. And I hope they go to prison for the rest of their life. And then you getting upset with everybody else. Y'all still have these kids. When they turn 20, you're able to, if they go to jail or prison, if they go to prison, you're able to write them. You're able to visit them. That's if they, on good behavior. They don't put them in a hole. You're able to visit them on their birthdays. These families that lost their children, they will never have that. Yes, they can go. All they could do is go to a grave site, have a vigil, have a Memorial Day, but they won't have that person physically with them. Yes, you guys probably won't be able to touch the family member because they behind bars or whatever, but your children are still alive. Are we so insensitive? Are we so selfish? It's always about us. We can't for 1 minute think about other people. 1 minute we can't think about, okay, yes, I'm hurt too because I have my kids being railroaded. I'm not sure if they responsible, not sure if they're not responsible, but let this family grieve. Let this family have their time. Nope, you want to take the spotlight. You run. News people, I got something to say. It don't make no sense. You have this young man paralyzed. And one thing I could say, because unfortunately, I said this in the other live too. Unfortunately, we live in a time where these shootings can happen. Please, if you are ever, I pray to God you are not in a situation like that, but if you ever find yourself to be in a situation like this, before you run off, please find some place, hide, survey the area, see where the threat is before you go running, because many times this is how people lose their lives. That fight and flight hormone kicking, or your adrenaline kicking, let's say kicking, and then you're not thinking, So or your only instinct is to run. And this is how the young man, he was running. And then in running, the alleged shooters were behind him, and that's how he got hit in the spine, and he got paralyzed. And he said he got hit. He felt that he got hit because when he tried to get up, he couldn't get up. He was immediately paralyzed. He wasn't paralyzed, and they had several surgeries for him. He wasn't immediately, he wasn't paralyzed after surgeries. When they hit him, he immediately paralyzed because he said he could not get up. And then y'all getting mad with people? And hallelujah, they denied their bond. They got no bond. Oh yes. Thank you. How this happened is the Anaya law. Hello, Isabella. I am going to mod you. Okay. So the Anaya law, this is how their bond was denied. They probably might have gotten bond, and we know if they got bond, they wouldn't have learned nothing, because a lot of young kids, when they get in trouble now, they still on social media talking crap. They still doing foolishness, drinking and smoking, doing all kind of stuff with their family. They don't learn nothing because they don't know their actions of consequences. So the Anaya law, this was a young lady by the name of Anaya Blanchard. Her name was Anaya Blanchard. And let me go to the story where I wrote the story. And this law passed in 2022. So Anaya Blanchard was 19 years old. She was a college student at South Union State Community College. She had just finished, dropped off her brother. They went to the same college. They lived like 10 minutes or 5 minutes away from each other. She dropped off her brother, and she stopped to a convenience store to buy potato chips. This was in October of 2019. Unfortunately, she was in the wrong place at the wrong time and encountered evil, pure evil, by the name of Ibrahim Yazid, the alleged person that took her life. Because I don't think he's pled not guilty. I don't think they found him guilty yet. He was arrested for kidnapping, attempted taking out and robbing 2 people. They gave him a $280,000 bond. This happened in Montgomery. He happened to be in Auburn, Jesus Christ, and encountered Anaya Blanchard. While on bond, he tried to do the same thing. Did the same thing that he tried to do to these people. He did to her, and unfortunately, he was successful. While on bond, he took her life. And I guess this touched a lot of people, because a lot of people probably saw that they dropped the ball. Why that this man was even off a bond, who knows? But they enacted the law last year that if you are, what is the Anaya law? Because I want to read it. Your bond will be denied if you are accused. You only have to be accused of a violent offense ranging from human trafficking to taking people out. So if you are accused of that in the state of Alabama, I think that's in the state of Alabama, your bond will be denied based upon this law. So though this young lady is not with us anymore, but she is still, her legacy will live on with this law. And that's why these young men didn't get bond. Thank God. Because they would have been wild enough. Look at that young man who tried to rob the Asian lady and then paralyzed her. Yes, she didn't lose her life. But he on the phone call, oh, why is she getting all this money on GoFundMe and stuff like that? She better go someplace. No remorse. No remorse. Oh, yeah, they said, even though they said that she was going to start walking, before time, but it doesn't matter. You don't have no remorse? It doesn't make any sense. So that's why their bond was denied, because of Anaya's law. If it wasn't for Anaya's law, well, I think that even if they would have tried to give them bond, they would have had a lot of problems with the community because of what these young men are accused of doing. Because that is pure evil what these young men decided to do in this community at a Sweet 16 party. But this is the world that we live in now. But the family was saying these young men, oh yeah, they never get in trouble, they athletic, they was on their way to college and stuff like that. Like the people who lost their life wasn't on their way to college. Only your kids was on the way to college and stuff like that. So my thing, I've said this before, many times when we have athletes as sons and cousins and stuff like that, family members, we always tend to push these young men, young girls, but a lot of young men, to be their best in football, basketball, whatever sport they play. There's nothing wrong with that, but to push them to be the best so they can make pro. So they can make pro, or so they could go, get a scholarship for college because of the athletics, the sports that they play. But people do not push these young men to have morals and value, so so they can have discernment to discern who is for them and who's not for them. Because most of the time we know athletes, they always tend to attract certain type of women, so certain type of men. They don't know how to choose. And why is that happening? This is what I have seen. They let a lot of these athletes get away with a lot of stuff. There's rules for the other kids, the other students, and there's rules for student athletes in certain schools. And I've seen this for school may start at, the Wi-Fi is messing up. My Wi-Fi is messing up. I think it's where I am. I have seen athletes. School starts 7:20. The athletes are coming. These are athletes coming in at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And they don't send them to go get a late pass. They don't send them to detention. I've seen they push athletes, like past them. They joke around, play around, and they play around in school. They don't do their schoolwork, and then they just pass them. That's one of the reasons why when they make all this big money, they just go, they go through the money, or they get hooked up with some crooked manager that steal all their money, because they don't know how to count, they don't know how to do nothing, they don't know how to analyze, they don't know how to do mathematics, because they never paid attention in school. So these young athletes at an impressionable age, knowing that because they are athletes, they could get away with certain stuff. Even though it's just by coming late to school, or maybe fighting, or doing stuff they don't have no business doing in school, they let them get away with it because they are an athlete. But you don't know they're not gonna be able to distinguish, hey, in real life, I could do that in school, but I can't do that in real life. They won't be able to differentiate. So we set some of these young men up too. We let them get away with certain stuff. We don't tell them that every action that you do, every decision you make has a consequence. We don't reiterate that to them. We don't drill that in their heads. You can do certain stuff in school, but real life you won't be able to do that. We let them get away with certain stuff. Because the family, yes, they look like they're very shocked these boys got caught up in something like this. But some stuff, these boys are set up. Nobody's teaching them respect. Some of these athletes are very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. But they get away with it because they're a good football player. They're a good basketball player. They play soccer real well. They're making the school money. So let's ignore their bad behavior because they're athletes. That's what we do. I'm going to turn on this car for the AC because I'm hot. Is my Wi-Fi still messing up or slow? It's so humid today. Jeez. So many times we are accomplice to certain things, because we want to take, we take credit when good things happen to these young men. But what about when they make bad decisions? We need to take responsibility too. And the family saying they sticking, nobody tell you not to stick by your family, but you could stick by your family member. You could stick by a friend, stick by your son or whatever, and still call them out and still condemn what they did, because what these boys are accused of is not good. Why you can't say, oh no, we're gonna ride for our family, we're gonna ride or die? Enablers, bunch of enablers. You can still condemn the action. Because at the end of the day, these young men was never supposed to be at this party. If they were not at this party, maybe down the line, you said no? Maybe down the line, who knows? They probably would have got mixed up in something else. They probably may not. But at the end of the day, they were not supposed to be at this party. Period. Why you at people's stuff? You're not supposed to be there. For when I was small, that's in raising, because people are not raising their children. They can say whatever they do. You don't raise your children. Because when I was small, my mother always, and I did the same thing to my girls. If they don't invite you, you're not going. Stop running behind people if they don't want you there. If they wanted you there, they would have come and give you an invitation. They would come and ask your parent and stuff like that. You're not inviting, you're just pulling up. You know how much people do stuff like that? They go to parties, don't even know the people. And then look, tragedy happens. And sometimes it starts when these, when they have sports, where they start with the little kids, very young, stuff like that. Sometimes even the coaches don't even have no morals and values. Period. They be saying all kind of stuff, or just because, especially with the little boys. That's why I say with the little boys, just because they boys, or they gonna learn these stuff anyway. They be talking all kind of things in front of these young men. So you already planting perversion and rebellion and dishonesty in these young boys. And this is stuff I've seen. This is stuff people in town, because I everybody know I love football. And I'm not only in professional football, I'm in youth football, high school, I'm in all. So I see a lot of things. Sometimes some of these coaches, not all coaches, some of these coaches are very good coaches, but there are a lot of coaches that are out of order, that don't need to be nowhere near kids at all. And then because these kids are not being raised, so when this coach come and tell your child this foolishness, they able to come and say, mommy, you know what coach so-and-so said? Say, don't listen to him, this and this and that. But no, parents, a lot of these parents, and they put their kids in sports so that they don't bother them anyway. They put their kids in sports so they don't bother them. So now everybody's shocked. These young men accused of this heinous evil thing. And they black. And you live in Alabama. That's one of the top reasons for you to raise your child. Raise your child. Teach them actions have consequences. Every decision you make, you could do whatever you want to do. But when you do whatever you want to do, you cannot choose the consequence. You cannot. Now you have all these kids, some of them under the age of 18, some of them under the age of 21, life gone. Unless by they are able to beat this case, which you're going to have a very, very, very good defense lawyer. And very, very good defense lawyer costs a lot of money. And I'm sure the Dadeville community is not going to stand with you, yes, the suspect's family, to raise money for them. So these young men are athletes, student athletes. How they get caught up in stuff like that? Because everybody focus on their talent, their gifts, and their ability to be a great athlete, but not a good human being. Or sometimes not even being a human being. And then now you have the family making excuses for them, knocking them. Hey, that's my family. I love them. What they did was wrong. I'm not proud of what they did. And I apologize for. Nope, you making excuses for them. What you think they're gonna do? This story really upset me. Really, really upset me. And the fact that why this story don't have a trending hashtag. Nobody's raising these kids. These kids doing whatever they just growing up. They just learning through just learning through trial and error. That's basically how they're learning. Trial and error. Everybody focusing on, oh, especially if you're an athlete. You can't wait till you go pro. Oh, when you go pro, don't forget me, bro. Don't forget me. But do they have the character to stay pro? You could go pro, but do you have the character to stay pro? And some of them can't even go pro because they don't even have the character to go pro. It's not only focus. Yes, your child have certain talents and abilities and gifts and stuff like that, but also work on make sure they have morals, they have value, they have discernment, they have good character. The only thing we do is pray for the families. Pray for the families that lost their children. And you lost their young adults, because Holston was 23 years old. He's a young adult. And some of these kids that are injured, paralyzed. That's one that I know so far is paralyzed. And then now these young men, their lives over. For what? I really like to know how this all got started. Yeah, I know the equipment fell, but was it something that was said? And then sometimes you just have to just look at somebody a certain way. They mad, they wanna pull out stuff, because people don't fight no more. They pull out, they use weapons now. So that's all I had to say. I wasn't even going to talk about this story today. I had something else I was going to talk about, but I heard that, you know, they was trying to get bond for them. Oh Lord, please don't let them get no bond. Oh, thank you Lord, they had a law that came in place. Yeah, this is sad. Very, very sad all around. Yes, it's very sad for the suspect's family, but I think this was not the time for them to be making excuses and trying to get all attention. You could see all them trying to get in the camera and stuff like that, trying to, so people could see them. Oh, yo, you saw me on TV? I was on TV. Oh yeah, I was on TV. It's like once cameras around, people don't know how to act. That's not the time. That was not the time. One day y'all was gonna have time to a chance to tell your story, but that day was. This thing is fresh. This wound is still fresh and still exposed, and now y'all want to be making excuses. Jesus come soon. Anyway, that's all I had to say on this situation. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Thank you for everybody that's going to watch later on. Thank you. I don't even think I said I needed a few, but I needed a few long minutes. And thank you for giving me that few long minutes. And I appreciate everybody that tuned in. And I'll see you tomorrow, God's willing, in another subject. Bye.